So, something that I've wanted to do, that I wanted to do for a little bit now, has been to try to install IntelliJ directly from the Windows subsystem for Linux, thereby getting around some of the issues that we saw earlier. So here is aforementioned blog post that talks about how to do it. So I'm going to try to follow these instructions here and take a look at how you do this. The point is you have to do a couple of things. You have to, let's set up a new thing. Basically, you have to set up a, XServer or X Windows Server. And there, well, basically use Cygwin and this thing called, what do they call this thing? Cygwin X, or is there a specific thing? No. Just Cygwin X. Cygwin X Server. Then install this thing called XFCE4 in WSL. And then finally, start. And then finally, install IntelliJ. So we're going to give this a shot, and first of all, we have to install Cygwin. Hooray! Let's install Cygwin. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Let's download this thing. And the wonderful thing you get to do when running Cygwin is to go through this, wait a minute. Select directory where we want setup to store installation. Okay, fine. Fine, Cygwin 64, root directory. Well, let's just do Cygwin. Okay. 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 Let it download. Okay, there we go. And this is the wonderful menu that we all get the lovely joy of going through when we install Cygwin. The only thing that I really care about here, let's see. Multi-window. What do I need here? Start Xwin. That's what I need. Start Xwin. Okay, nothing here. Xwin. Oh, let's see, what do we have here? Blah, 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 blah. Libs X11. Okay. Okay, okay. X init, X input. Okay. Make sure to select all required packages in the section 15. The section 15. What's the section 15? Okay, X packages are located in the X11 category. XORG server, xinit, xorg docs, xlaunch, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so category X11, here we are. What do we need here? Blah, 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 blah. Xinit. Okay. The latest version, I guess. What else? Xinit. Xorg. And there's no way to increase the size of this tiny font, so you have to squint. XServer. Okay, latest version, I guess. XServer. Xorg docs. Okay, no Xorg docs. Can't even find that. Xlaunch. Okay. You may also select any X client programs. You may also want to ensure open SSH if you're going to SSH. Fine. Open SSH. Okay. I guess. You may also want to ensure inet utils or RSH if you want to telnet or RSH. Okay, I don't care about that. All right, next. Blah, 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 next. Wait. And we will take a pause here until this is done. Alright, we're done installing Cygwin, so let's continue with that, and now we have to set up this we have to set up this shortcut, so let's do that. Copy, yada yada yada. New shortcut, location of the item, blah blah blah. Oh, Cygwin 64, we changed it to Cygwin. Blah 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 blah. Launch X. Okay. Yes, allow access, blah blah blah. Okay, and we need to move this, or copy it, into the startup. There's a startup folder here somewhere. Blah, 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 blah. Where's the startup folder? Okay. Is there like a run on startup menu here or something? Open file location, change advanced. Blah, 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 blah. Don't care. Is this smart enough to... No, not smart enough to do that. Okay. Let's see if this page shows us. Oh, here we go. Startup in your start menu. You can get there by opening this location from Windows Explorer. Okay. Charming. Program data. All right, let's, I guess, copy it into here. Yes, continue. Okay. Why does it have to take 3 seconds to copy a tiny thing? Good question. Now we have to install XFCE in double. Oh yes, we already ran this thing. Let's all install XFCE in WSL. Ubuntu. All right. Okay. Charming. Blah 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 blah. All right, next. Install this. Yes. Blah 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 blah. Okay. Display forwarding. I'm using ZSH shell, so I'm forwarding ZSRC. Make sure it should be bash RC or bash profile, depending on the shell you use, except for what do we do for this? Okay. Desktop environment, WSL, choose XFCE as it is well documented, blah, blah, blah. One display manager is a program with graphical login capabilities of X Windows system. Only one display manager can be given XServer. Multiple display manager packages are installed. Please select which display manager should be run by default. Multiple display managers can be run simultaneously if you configure to manage on different servers. To achieve this, configure display managers accordingly, added to their init scripts in etc init.d and disable the check for default display manager. Default display manager, GDM3 versus Light GM. Light DM. Okay. Fine. GDM3. Blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, what are we doing? We're going to our bash profile, and we're adding this stuff into there. Let's first start XFCE and WSL. Alright, let's wait for this thing to install, and then we'll try to launch XFCE from WSL. La 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 la. I guess we'll take a pause right here. Alright, well that's done. Let's try starting this XFCE. See what that does. Okay, XInit giving up, unable to connect to XServer, connection refused. Okay. Oh, right. Whoops. I need to set up this information in my bash profile first. I guess bash rc. New. What directory are we in? Bash rc is empty. Bash rc? What? Why is bash rc empty? Bash rc should certainly not be empty. Okay. Close. Might cancel that. What directory does it think it's in? Home alexi.bashrc. No. Let's see. Bash. Wow. Okay, so Sublime text in Windows doesn't work from inside the subsystem. In certain situations, at least. I don't know. Let's pull out the tab. And let's try opening it up like this. New. Okay. All right. Time for more Vim. Oops. All right, let's set that up and let's relaunch this thing. Okay. Let's try this start XFCE 4 thing again. Blah, 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 blah. And we are in XFCE. Well, that's interesting. Oh, here we are. Here is our wonderful XFCE. Well, let's go download IntelliJ. Okay, not Windows. Okay. And let's wait for this to get done. Okay, we're done downloading that. So I guess let's launch another one of these. Downloads, and let's copy it from our downloads directory. Excuse me, it's going to be slash from the mount file, which is the mount point slash user slash username slash downloads. What? downloads /idea u2002 tar gz, move it to here. And actually, yeah, there, mkdir applications mv idea to here, tar xvf, and this whole wonderful thing. And let's see what happens if we try to launch it. Bin idea.sh. Log state error, LAF initialized. Okay. Continue, send IntelliJ idea. Next, launcher script. Fine, create a launcher script. Featured plugins, install Scala. Start using IntelliJ IDEA. Launcher script creation failed with 127. Okay, fine, whatever. Oh, I guess you have to do sudo to create a launcher script. Okay, fine. All right. Enter your respective login and password here. Okay. All right. Well, let's actually see if we can grab the project that we already created. Git quill. Close. Oh, wait a minute. Is this even legit? Actually, no. Do I want to actually do this? Because I did not re-import this. This imported a Windows project. This imported a Windows project. And I'm a little weary of that. So I actually don't want that to be the thing that happens. What I want is this. I want to wipe out, because I created this thing and I opened this thing up in Windows, and I don't want that to happen. Is there a IML? No, there's no IML. So, let's try this again. wonder if you can start this thing in headless mode. Because that would be ideal. I don't want to see any of this stuff. Okay, fine. Okay. Meanwhile, let's make a soft link in applications. Actually, come to think of it, if this does work, then I'm probably going to install IntelliJ IDEA. Probably going to install the IntelliJ IDEA toolkit or whatever that utility is that launches let's see, IDEA / blah 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 bin idea.sh. Oh, whoops, I forgot to do the ampersand. Whatever. Okay. Oh. Open as SBT project. That's what I'm looking for. I wanted to open the directory as an SBT project. So now it's importing the SBT stuff. And let's wait for it to import all the SBT modules, etc., etc., etc. This might take a bit. I guess pausing here for a minute. Okay, so this thing started, and let's try building Quill. Or at least let's try building some modules. So I'm going to try building Quill Core and Quill SQL. For the other modules, we need Docker. So I'm going to skip that for now. Meanwhile, I'm going to unload those modules. So unload, unload, unload. Unload. Unload, unload. Unload, unload. Unload all dependent modules. Unload. Unload, unload. Unload. Alright, so I've unloaded a bunch of stuff. Now, let's see what happens if I try to rebuild this. Build, rebuild project. Alright, well, we're doing something. Oh, wait, no, stop that. No. What we actually want to do, again, like I've mentioned before, is we want to go to the SBT settings and use for project reloads and use for build. Let's do it like that. And now, yes, and now build, rebuild project, because we want to use SBT to build our project. So here we are building now. And let's compile and wait for this to happen. And now it's going to start compiling the tests, and that's going to take a bit longer. So meanwhile, let's pause it. Okay, it looks like we've managed to compile. All right, well, let's run something. Let's run this. In fact, can I increase the font? How do I increase the font? And of course, none of the features that we're used to, like, panning or anything, or gestures will work because we are inside Linux now. But that's fine. We can configure shortcuts for all of this. Now, here's the question. Let's see if we can run this thing. And we can. And that looks fine. Now, the most interesting thing is, of course, debugging SBT. And debugging SBT, in reference to changes, that you do that would take place inside of the Scala compiler. So let's give that a shot. Actually, first of all, again, normally every single time you need to you change some core files, you need to recompile all the tests. So let's disable that. Actually, let's and if you're using SBT, the SBT launcher, as we are here, you need to actually manually modify that yourself. So the way that you do that is and let's quickly look at, it's all in contributing.md. All the settings that you need. Exclude tests. Or maybe not. Well, in that case, go to messages. Here they all are. So, okay, IntelliJ's features are popping up here. So yeah, let's, what are we looking for? Oh, actually we're looking for an SBT switch, right? Build.sbt. I should really include this in the contributing.md. Exclude tests. It's something that you have to launch SBT with. So settings, this, DexcludeTests equals to true. And then on top of that, you can do some other things like quill trace enabled, quill trace. Let's actually put them into quill trace enabled, quill trace color, quill trace, no, we don't want that. That we want to have, and no. Macro log pretty. What macro log pretty does is that it makes the SQL queries it, pretty prints them. Really, it should be quill.sql.log, but anyway. Okay, trace enabled, true. Blah, blah, blah. In fact, no, we'll make trace enabled false meanwhile. Let's just add these settings to SBT. Okay, let's actually do trace enabled false. That's for tracing compile phases. We don't want that. Trace color and log pretty. We will do true. Apply. Okay. Now, if we want to, say, change something, let's say change something inside the parser. So parsing. And now we've got a whole bunch of stuff here. Let's say query parser. So we want to set a breakpoint here in the query parser. And we want to run this thing here, or actually compile it, and we want to set a breakpoint here. So remember how the sort of way that I showed you guys before, which was in the Ubuntu shell. So let's do that. Let's actually start a new Ubuntu shell. And in our new Ubuntu shell, let's launch SBT. But first of all, we need to do jvm-debug on port 5005, which we are going to remote debug in just a second. But what we need to do first is we also want to do the same settings that we applied to the SBT shell here. This setting in particular exclude tests, because again, if you change anything in parsing, you will have to recompile all of the tests, and that takes a while. So if you're just trying to mess around with this thing, you probably want to disable recompiling the tests, which is exactly what we will do here. env that exclude tests. Wait a minute. No, that's not all. It's not that. It's SBT opts needs to be that. And SBT opts defines the Java options that go into the launch of SBT. So this is what you need to do, actually. Launching SBT if you want to not compile the tests. So I'll actually just quickly put it in here. Launch SBT without compiling tests. You do that. Okay. So let's minimize this, and let's see if we can run this thing here. Okay. So here we are. All right. Now let's, right, in order for this thing to have to recompile, we have to make some sort of test, or excuse me, you have to make some sort of change. And edit configurations, application, no, not what we want. Remote debug on port 5005, and of course we launch this thing to listen to port 5005, so let's launch the remote debug. And now we're connected, so compile. Let's see what happens now. Oh. Well, that didn't do much. Oh, wait a minute. Let's go to... Wait a minute, where are we? Oh, we're not in the Quill project directory. We're not really anywhere. Whoops. All right, we need to go to our project directory. Let's see, can we do copy path in here? Well, I'm just curious. Copy absolute path. Okay, fine. All right, SB. Oh, wait, no. Nah, no. PS. Do I have SBT running in the background? So this is a neat little script that I like to do to kill all SBT instances. Print. This, again, this only works inside of Linux, does not work in Windows. Okay, and then also you have to do grep-v grep, because grep makes its own. It matches its own window. But anyhow, so there. Whoopsie. There we go. Print 2. xargs kill -9 and kill all the SBTs running, because there are SBT windows that sometimes continue running even if you do Control-C, and even if you close them from IntelliJ, they just keep on running. There, so you use that. Now, let's go back to IntelliJ, wherever it was a second ago. Speaking of which, where is it? Here it is. Oh, it's that. Okay, it's actually... wait. There it is. Okay, so let's go back to Ubuntu and let's launch SBT. But again, we need to launch SBT with the proper settings, XCludeTests and jvm-debug. Now, something important. When you go into here, again, make sure to go to project quill SQL. Wait, what just happened here? Blah, 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 not found, start XFCE 4. What did I just do here? There may be incompatibilities, SBT class dep. Oh, what did I just do here? Build.sbt. Did I put something here? Why is start XFCE JS modules? Quit. Start. What? Build SBT line 14. Okay. Less build.sbt. Wait a minute. Why is it... Why does build.sbt say one thing here and another thing here? Reload from disk. We are in /git/quill/home directory git quill build.sbt. Reload from disk. Build.sbt. Vim build.sbt. Okay, close this, reload this. What is this? Will this be changed? Project structures changed. No. Reload from disk. Well, that's interesting. Why is there start XFCE 4 and build.sbt, inside the subsystem. And then in here, it seems to not be aware of that, even when I tell it to reload from disk. This looks like an interesting bug. But if I save it, well, then it goes back to normal. But if I edit it, hello. Okay. And I reload it. Well, now it reloads. Okay. Well, that's odd. Alright. That seems like an interesting bug. But, alright, so you have to be careful about what's in your build.sbt. Anyway, let's restart SBT in here. And it should launch shortly. Now, we've launched it here, and okay. Now, very important, project quell SQL JVM Launch SBT. Let's add this. The dismiss. Saves time. Then to compile specifically the Quill SQL project, we do that. Here's the command that we used to launch that. Now let's do that. And let's change this. Hello. And compile it. Are we remote debugging? Whoops, we're not remote debugging. But the compile works. Let's launch the remote debugging. We have our breakpoint. And compile. And now we wait. Hurrah! We're in. Oh, wait, well. All right, so now we get to debug this thing. Let's run it. Now, again, if we do something like change the source here, say val return equals to that return. Let's set a breakpoint here. Typically we'll want to debug it in reference to something else, so we'll do that. And let's run it again. Let's see what happens. So now it's going to recompile this file, and eventually it should get to this file, and from this file, when it recompiles this, it should hit the breakpoint there, but let's see what happens. And now we're here. And we can see what this is. Oops. Brah, come on, get me to get me to this plus. One of the things that you have to do is increase the font here, and that helps with a lot of things. But anyway, here's the code in which you can go into and have a look. And that is breakpoint debugging in the Ubuntu subsystem. Now, the other thing that I'd like to show you is another simpler way to debug this code. And the way to do that, again, it's all in the contributing.md guide. In fact, we can go to it from here. And can we get to it from here? Actually, no, I don't think so. You have to go to GitHub. And then from there, go to the contributing.md. Another way to set this thing up, it talks about debug macro. So there are a few things. First of all, you have to set the switch called debug macro. So this is another. So let me introduce this very quickly as another way. Actually, before I do that, let's take pause, and let's end this particular segment actually, because we've gone that far.